A very warm good afternoon to all the dear students and welcome back to the class of Business Startups and Innovation. Today we are going to start continuing with the chapter that is starting a small business. In the last class, we had gone through a basic introduction of this particular chapter that, we have three, four types of different industries. First of all, we have the micro scale industry, then we have the small scale industry, and then we have the medium scale industry. So in case of micro scale industry, the investment in the plant and machinery is very, very less. Whereas in case of small scale industry, it is quite high than the micro scale industry. That is what we had seen. Also, we had seen that how important the cottage industries and the small scale industries are whenever any economy has to develop. So we had seen that when India became independent, the focus of the government was more and more on establishing the large scale industries. But that is not how it always works. It is not possible for all the large scale industries to be successful and to provide employment to each and every person in the entire country. So for that particular purpose, we require the establishment of cottage and small scale industries so that they can make good progress and they can contribute to the development, they can contribute to the advancement of any particular economy. Then we had seen that whenever a selection of any small scale enterprise has to be made, there are various steps which are required to be followed. So first of all, you need to take the decision that yes, you want to be self-employed, means yes, you want to start your own business and you won't be working at any particular place. Then you need to identify all the opportunity. In that particular case, your step number one will be idea generation. Means you need to discuss, you need to decide as to on what idea you want to work, on what particular business idea you want to uh, start your business. Next, we have concept testing. Whenever you have developed, 4 or 5 alternative ideas, that yes, those would be the ideas that you want to take forward, you need to start testing upon those ideas, whether will you be able to successfully carry out those particular ideas, or are those ideas feasible or not. All those particular tasks you need to check. And towards the end, when you have 3 4 alternatives with you, you need to screen all the product and the service ideas. Means you need to take a test, you need to check whether all those particular ideas will be successfully able to be carried out by you or not. Once you have screened all the ideas, you can definitely decide upon one idea which you would like to take forward. And towards the end, the last step of our entire process of selection of a small scale enterprise will be the selection of the line of business. That finally which line of business are you going to select and which line of business you are going to take forward. Now, next, this is the flow chart that we had started discussing. So first of all, we had seen that, whenever you want to select any industry, you need to check the entire economic viability, including the marketing strategy, pricing strategy, financing strategy, staffing strategy, as to what strategy you will have to apply at which particular stage. Like in the initial stage, you need to check the economic viability. Then later on, you need to move towards the marketing and the pricing strategy, and then finally decide the staffing and the financing. So that is how you will be successfully able to carry out all the activities in any business. Again, it is very, very important to remember that in any business, there are 4 key departments that are there. Now, what are those departments? You will be working on those departments in your summer internship project also, after you finished your SYBBA. So the 4 departments, I'm sure you all must be knowing, they are finance, marketing, HR, and production or operations. Okay. So these are the 4 departments, and you need to maintain a proper balance between all the departments. Then only a proper selection will have to be made. Again, you have to make arrangement for know-how and selection of the industry. You need to apply to the financial institutions for assistance for fixed assets and working capital, inclusive of export finance if warranted. So again, in this particular case, you need to apply whenever, if suppose you have to take a loan, or if you have to obtain the money you need to apply for a loan to any bank or to any financial institution so that the arrangement of finance can be made. You also need to make a proper selection of the location and the acquisition of premises. Once you have decided upon the location, once you have zeroed down on the location, you need to apply for NOC, that is no objection certificate, registration and power allotment. And for all those purposes, you need to apply to the local body, to the panchayat or to the municipality to obtain their permission. Now, once all these tasks have been made, you need to carry out the further steps. Once you have taken the location, once you have arranged for all the things, you need to take a step further. Now, what will be the next step? That is, you need to obtain or you need to recruit staff for your business. So in that particular case, your step number one will be to recruit the staff. And in that case, again, you need to take care as to what will be the different types of staff that is required. In that case, it can be skilled staff, semi-skilled staff, unskilled staff. So these are the 3-4 categories which you need to see. So in that particular case, you need to take care that what category of staff you will have to hire and how many people you will have to hire in each particular category. Then you need to apply for the raw materials. Again, like I said, that it is not very easy to avail or to obtain all the raw materials. It is quite difficult. You need to apply for the quota. Many a times, if you are exporting any products, you need to import the raw material required for the production of that particular product. Many a times it so happens that suppose if you are importing your raw materials from China or from Pakistan and India is not on good terms with that particular country, it can become a major headache for you as to from where to obtain the raw materials. Now someone will say that, suppose if India is not on good terms with China, let us import from Spain, let us import from Europe. But again, the cost would have tripled, the cost would have become 5 times if you are importing from any other European or maybe from the US. So again, it is very difficult. And again, while obtaining the raw materials, you need to see as to at what price you are able to procure those particular raw materials. Then definitely we need to apply for power connection. It is not very easy to obtain power connection. Usually we are staying in residential complexes, and that is why we don't always have to worry about obtaining the power, because that has already been obtained, that has already been taken care of by the department or by the residential complex people. But that is not the case when you are starting your own industry, because in that case you yourself have to apply to the department and you need to take the power connection. And then later on, once you have taken all the power connection, once you have applied for the raw materials, finally you need to obtain those fixed assets on which you will be doing the production. So for that, you need to place orders for machinery and see to it that the machinery is installed. Now again, this is a very important thing, that from where to import the machinery, what will be the benefit that you will be getting, what will be the custom duty that you will be paying on that particular machinery. So all those aspects are very important that are required to be seen. Again, when you are obtaining or when you are purchasing the machinery, many times there are various exhibitions which are held throughout the world. So you need to go to those exhibitions, you need to visit those exhibitions, and from there it is possible that you might place an order for any particular machinery that you want to purchase. Again, it is not very easy. You cannot just go to an exhibition, just take a stroll and select one particular machinery. It is not like this that it happens. But what you need to do is you need to do a proper research as to which machinery will be fit for the type of goods or for the type of cloth that you want to produce. So in that particular case, you need to do proper research, you need to take care of a lot of things, and then finally you need to select one machinery. Now you would say that why to do so much of mathamari, why to take care of so many things, and why to see so many aspects before selecting any machinery. Now I would like to tell you that machinery is a fixed asset, and again, that is one asset which involves a huge amount of money. And once you have invested in a machinery, it is not always possible to get it exchanged for any other machinery. So why is it important? Because it involves huge amount of cost, and because your decision is irreversible. You cannot reverse the decision. Once you have installed or once you have put your money in purchasing any machinery, you cannot reverse that particular decision. You need to continue with that. And if suppose you have purchased any wrong machinery, or any machinery which is not fit for your production, it can create a lot of difficulty for your future of the business. It will not be possible for you to conduct your business in the way that you had planned, and also there are chances that you might incur losses. Now after that, we have both the aspects connected. We have also procured the raw materials, and we have also connected the machinery. Now what to do? Once we have the raw material with us, and also we have connected ourselves with the machinery, now the next task will be trial runs. So trial runs, in case, means that you need to conduct a trial that the machine is working properly, and you are able to obtain the proper output in a proper way. So again, once you have set up everything, you need to conduct trial runs. You need to check again and again that there are no errors happening. Now suppose if there is anything wrong with the machinery, in that case, what will you do? So in that case, you can contact the person who has exported you the machinery. You can ask for an exchange of the machinery. You can ask, for him to come and repair, or to work upon that machinery, or to update that machinery. So it is very, very necessary that, before you start your final production, you need to take a trial run. And this is something we have always been doing. Whenever, we go to purchase any TV, or we go to purchase any fridge, we always take a trial. Ki, bhai, how is it working? How does it look like? What cooling will it give? Okay, suppose even if we are purchasing a very small thing like a calculator from a stationery shop, we will always make sure to check it, that it's working. No matter, even if we are doing 5 plus 9 is equal to 14, but we will definitely take a check that that particular machine is in proper shape and it is working correctly. Whenever we purchase a laptop also, like suppose, many of you would have purchased laptops or any other electronic device, because now due to COVID, we have a lot of online teaching also going on. In that particular case, whenever you will go to the shop to purchase any electronic device, they will open it in front of you, and they will show you that it is working properly. They will show you that, it has all the 4 drives, and it is working properly, and you have Google installed, you have all the basic applications involved. In case Windows is included in it, in case Excel, Word, PowerPoint, all those applications are included in it, they will show it to you that, this is the trial run. You can even try it, and it is in proper shape. Then only they will pass on the property to you, so that later on you do not go there and claim that, this is not working, that is not working. Since the initial time only, they will show you that everything is working in the proper shape. So that is how important the trial runs are. And in case anything is going wrong, in case the machinery is not working properly, you can always take the corrective measures. Means you can always make changes, you can always amend whatever is going wrong, or you can maybe get the machinery exchanged if that is possible. But again, importing the machinery, if you are importing it from any other country, it is very, very difficult. Now if you will understand, India has had always a major focus on development of industries, but still India is not a country where there has been a lot of development of the large scale industries, or of the large scale machineries. That is something which is still lagging behind. So most of our industries in India, we are dependent upon importing such high level machineries from outside countries, mostly from China, and mostly from the European countries or the US. So that is also an important aspect to be seen. Now, once you have made all the trial runs, once you have taken all the corrective measures, now what? Definitely now you would like to start on with the major work, which is production. So definitely you will start producing the goods, you will start the production of all the activities of all the finished goods that are there. And once you have done all the production, you will sell all those particular goods. Okay, now at the time of production, you will maintain all the records. Definitely you will keep a record ki bhai kitna produce hua, where is it going, how is it going. And you will also check the standardization of products quality. it is very, very important that all the products which are manufactured in any part of the country, they all have to follow a certain criteria, they all have to follow a certain rule, and they all have to maintain the minimum standard. Like if you will see, we also have, you know, the ISI mark, and there are various trademarks, there are various aspects to be checked whenever you are producing. Again, you have to check that, you know, a lot of hygiene is maintained, a lot of care is taken while at the time of producing any particular product. If you will see, you know, many years back, even Cadbury had faced this particular issue, that cockroaches or insects were found from the package of the Cadbury chocolate, due to which there was a lot of defamation of that particular chocolate brand around the world, and they had faced huge losses. But then what happened? They took corrective measures, they improved their quality, they improved their packaging, they took a lot of care of all the hygiene factors, and then later on they were able to make their products of the standard quality. So it is very true that no matter how big any brand is, no matter how successful any brand is, if you are not maintaining the proper standard, it is very, very easy for you to fall down. It is not always easy for you to stay at a particular proper and appropriate position. So again, it is very important that you keep all the goods standardized, you maintain the proper standard, and based on that, you are taking care that all the control aspects are met. You all would have seen, you know, even Maggie faced a backslash when a lot of lead content was found in its product. So again, a lot of times, even the famous, even the bigger brands, they come under the screening lens if they are not maintaining the proper standard. Now, once you are selling all your goods, suppose if you have produced you know, laptops or TV, then you will definitely sell it. And once you have sold those particular units, you will realize the sale. So sales realization means that, you know, whatever money you have obtained, whatever amount you are obtaining while selling the goods, you will take the money with you. Suppose if you are selling 100 laptops for, say, rupees 10,000 each, so whatever money you are realizing, that will be your sales realization. Okay, now what you will do, you will recycle the realization. Whatever you are obtaining as your realization, it is not possible for you to keep all the money with you. You will have to pay other people, you will have to pay your staff, you will have to pay the people from whom you would purchase the raw materials. So there will be a lot of people whom you would have to pay the wages, the salaries, you need to pay to the creditors, you need to pay your rent, you need to pay a lot of aspects after deducting all the expenses. So usually if you are able to, you know, remember the trading account and the P&L account, in the trading account we get the final figure as gross profit, which we carry forward to the P&L account. And in the P&L account, after deducting all the expenses, we get the net profit. Okay, so net profit is the final aspect that you are having, or is the final amount of money that you have obtained. Now, from the net profit, there will be two aspects that have to be taken care of. The first one is that you will pay the dividend. Dividend means you are giving some money back to the shareholders, and then the rest of the amount you will flow back. Flow back means you will be retaining that particular money. So suppose if you are earning 50 rupees, it is possible that you will give away 30 rupees to the shareholders as dividends, and you will keep the remaining 70 rupees with you in your business to help your business grow. Okay, so it is again, this is a policy which will depend upon a particular business, that which policy they want to follow. There might be some company which will give away the entire profits as dividends, or there might be some company which will keep the entire profit as retained earnings, or there will be some company which will do this particular thing in a certain ratio. So it is very, very important to see that, you know, what is the policy that your company is following, and based on that policy you should take the appropriate action. Now next part, we have starting a small scale industry. Okay, so now we have seen that, you know, what is the process of running any small scale industry. But now we will be seeing that whenever you want to start a small scale industry, what will be the process that you will be following. So this is the phase with the objectives. Just go through it once, then we'll start discussing it. Okay, so here first of all we have the project selection phase. Okay, so first of all you need to the objective in this particular case is to select those products, processes or systems in an organization where the value and cost ratio is low and where analysis will lead to increased benefits. Okay, so first of all you need to see and you need to select a particular project where you will be able to obtain higher returns and your benefits will be very very high. Next we have the information phase. What happens in an information phase? You need to gather all the information. So once you have shortlisted, suppose 3 or 4 different projects based on different criteria, you need to find out the final information. You need to obtain and gather information about those particular projects. So how it will happen? To gather, you need to gather and organize and analyze the entire data. You need to define the functions. Okay, whatever projects you have shortlisted, you need to define the particular function with which they will be operating, and then you need to establish a functional monetary value. Okay, that suppose how much benefit will you be getting from each and every project. You need to give them and you need to set up a monetary value with each of the particular project. Then we next have the creative phase. Okay, what do you mean by creative phase? It will include to generate alternative methods for providing necessary functions. Okay, so whenever you are doing any particular task or whenever you have to provide any particular task, there is not just one method which you can follow. There are various alternative methods which you can follow, and because of which you will be able to provide that particular service. So in this particular phase, in this particular case, you need to put on your creative hats on your head, and then you need to generate and analyze the alternative methods for providing necessary functions. Means you need to generate ideas as to, if suppose this is method A of doing any particular task, what will be the method B? What will be the method C? So you need to put on or you need to start on with your creative phase, and you need to generate all the alternative methods so that you can provide any necessary function. Then next we have the evaluation phase. So in this particular case, once you have decided all the alternative methods, you need to find out as to what will be the cost of each and every method and what value will you be generating. Based on that, you need to select one final particular project. So again, in case of evaluation phase, it goes like this: to develop, refine and evaluate alternate methods generated during the creative phase. Okay, so in this particular case, you will have to develop, you will have to refine and evaluate all the alternate methods which are generated during the creative phase. So once you have certain alternative methods like A, B, C and D, you need to develop upon those methods, you need to refine them, and then finally you need to evaluate those alternate methods. Then your step B will be to determine the cost of each and every method, and your step number C will be to select the best and to select the most feasible method which is offering you the best value. Now, what will be the method offering me the best value? It will be the method which will be having the highest revenue and the lowest cost. Okay. Then we will have the recommendation phase. So now once you have decided everything, so this is something which is not usually done by the person starting his own business. Okay, he can assign it to some junior, he can assign it to his manager. So in the next phase, we have the recommendation phase. So suppose if you are a CEO or if you are a person, who is working for your boss, you need to prepare an entire report and you need to present that report to the top management, which will have all your recommendations along with the benefits. Suppose if you have recommended part C or part or project B, in that case you will have to present it in your report and you will have to mention your recommendation that I am recommending project B and this is the reason why I am recommending this particular project. So whenever you are submitting your report, you cannot just write one line and say that, yes, I recommend you project B. No, that is not how it works. You need to present a report which will have all the basic analytical factors as to why you are going with a particular project. Then we have the implementation phase. In that phase, what you will need to do, you need to set up a plan in action for implementation of the selected method. Okay, you need to set up a final plan where you need to state that, you know, why you are going to implement it and how you are going to implement it. The very important question is that how are you going to implement the particular plan that we have selected. Again, in that case, you need to obtain approval. Now, the important thing is that from whom to obtain the approval. So there are various parties involved. You might have to obtain national level permission or permission from the municipality, from the SNC, from the local authorities. So all those permissions you need to take, and then you need to perform all the other actions which are necessary to put the proposal into effect. Okay. And then towards the end, once we have implemented our project, once we have taken all care regarding our particular project, we need to start with our follow-up phase. So what will happen in our follow-up phase? You need to follow up and audit the actual results. So suppose if you had planned that, you know, in the month of January, you will be producing 100 units of this particular product. Then after January is over, you need to follow up. You need to see that, you know, what was your plan and how much production has actually been made. Suppose if you had planned that you will be producing 100 units of a particular laptop in the month of January, then after January is over, you need to do a proper check that, you know, how many units in actual you have been able to produce. If suppose instead of 100 you have been able to produce only 80 units, then you need to audit, you need to check that, you know, why only 80 units you have been able to produce, why not more units. So all that comes under the follow-up phase. It can so happen that, you know, because the labor was not good, because the machinery was not good, because the facility was not good, if it is due to any such reason, then you need to work hard, you need to decide as to, you know, such things should not be repeated again, and you need to take proper action. You need to make sure that such actions are not repeated, and you need to resolve the problem. Many times it is not possible that, you know, always you are able to resolve your problem, or always you are able to take care of every small thing before the project. Many a times it so happens that, you know, after you have started the project, once you are working in that on that project, even after that you might be facing some problems which you need to take care of. So it is very, very important that, you know, no matter what the stage is, no matter what the particular phase is, you might have to resolve problems even throughout the entire project. And again, it is very, very important, in case you are not taking care of it, in case you are not resolving projects problems during the project implementation also, it can lead to many problems, it can cause many issues. So again, you need to do a proper follow up, and you need to audit all the actual results. In case suppose if you are producing more units, if suppose your target was 100 units and you are producing 140 units, then that will be considered to be a good sign. But based on that actual production, you can even revise your standard production units for the future. So this is it about your entire phase or your entire process of starting a small scale industry. Next is the process of starting a small enterprise. Okay, so this is something which we will be going through in the next class, that how the process works. I have shared the PPT with all of you, so you can go through the basic aspects, and we will discuss them in the next class. Also, there is an important announcement that tomorrow we are going to have a seminar by a renowned guest speaker who will be coming and conducting the seminar. So in that particular case, the lectures will not be conducted, but you all are requested to attend the seminar completely, and please pay attention, and do not miss the seminar at any cost. So that is it for today. Thank you very much, all the dear students, for attending the class, and have a good day. Thank you.